And we are live, episode 85 of the RINO podcast. Welcome, everybody. Don't forget to head on over to patreon.com/RINOpod. Only $1 a month for the best political, normal conversation you're going to hear out there. And, Kaitlin, let's kick it off with what I feel is the most apt comparison I can think of thus far, about Governor Ron DeSantis. I have not felt the inevitability, the Thanos-like inevitability of any individual since Barack Obama. There is a consensus, little by little, chip by chip, away at what we all know to be true about Donald Trump, what conservatives have seen Governor Ron DeSantis accomplish, that he will be the Republican nominee. Now, general election, we got to work hard. I'm not going to say he's definitely getting elected to president, but I am now more confident than anything that he will win the nomination for Republican presidential hopes. What say you?
God, I hope so.
Me too. He has.
I think that Ron DeSantis is making a lot of good decisions right now, doing a lot of dinners and going to a lot of primary states and speaking to a lot of people. There is kind of a weird polling difference between national and state polling, and right now I think I did see a poll out of Texas that I thought was a little troubling.
Did you see the reply to you quoting talking about that poll? There was a reply buried in. I don't know if you got a chance to read it because there were a few replies. Somebody looked into the polling outfit.
It could be completely skewed. So
yeah, it didn't look legit.
So, again, polling is only as good as the sample that you get the results from, right? So, that's a part of statistics. You have to have good data in order to have good results and then make a conclusion from those results. I'm hoping. I mean, the thing is, I think that Ron DeSantis is making really good moves, keeping his head down, governing, not so much attacking back at Trump. I don't think that there really is a reason to. I think that right now, Donald Trump is, I don't even know. His people are very online. He's not releasing fundraising numbers. That is concerning to me. Not concerning in the way that I'm concerned for his campaign, because I think that they're blowing it. But I think that would be a concerning factor in how well he's doing, right? Mm-hmm. If I were to look at it. Because if he's not getting the numbers that he was before as someone who is a former president and a leader of the party, then that means that the campaign's not doing well. Yeah. And I see a lot of the people around his campaign just really being online. I think Ron DeSantis is setting down a campaign structure. I see that. And we'll see going forward from there. I think he's making good decisions. He's doing these dinners. He's talking to actual primary voters, and that's going to help sway this primary season. It is March 2023. I think that we need to keep that in perspective, but I don't know. My big concern right now as we go into what happened the last 2 days of the news cycle is that Trump is being talked about a lot. And, Trump is a very all-encompassing person. He, would push news cycles when he was president, and it would be there for a long time, and it would change very quickly. And that's kind of what happened here. And so it's funny when that happened, Fox News, I guess, reporting that he could be arrested on Tuesday, and then Trump kind of confirming that. And then maybe them walking it back this morning.
Yeah. What were the charges? I saw this fly through, and I intentionally didn't pay attention to look at it because
I intentionally didn't really pay attention to, but I think it has to concern the hush money payments that he paid Stormy Daniels. I think that's what it.
Are you kidding me? No, he's not going to
Campaign
get
finance.
arrested. The campaign is probably like, you should let yourself get arrested and see what, and let the. I'm like, give me a
Well, yeah,
break. This
because
is the
when
walls are closing
for
in bullshit that we heard
well, the thing
before.
is that what Donald Trump does is with these type of dramas is put on the show, and it makes his supporters come out and support him in a very hard way. And it's like, I'm just tired of this. Like, I am exhausted, and the fatigue has set in. I don't think that I need to double down on support of Donald Trump or even the principal at large. We don't even know if he's really getting arrested on Tuesday
Right.
or not. And so, why, why am I giving any emotional
No,
capital to this?
but you're not, and you shouldn't.
Like, the thing is like, I'm voting for Ron DeSantis in the primary. I've already, and when he runs, I've already made that decision. And so I'm tired of it. Like, I just am tired of the constant drama. Like, I don't think that Trump is the same as 2016. In 2016, he ran on specific platform points, immigration being one. He had other platform points that he ran on. Now it's just like a regurgitation of what Ron DeSantis is doing in Florida, and it's working. And so I think a lot of his huge supporters online are kind of copying, or like, they're really going after Ron DeSantis because, game recognizes game.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
Well, they're trying to get attention instead of doing real things. He. Let me say this, and I have a strong inclination and feeling that this is Ron DeSantis drive the governor, the smart guy who goes, no, we're sticking to real meat and potatoes, while Trump is lashing out, and we'll get into the attacks on DeSantis in a second, but while everybody's lashing out, they're doing this. So you should be able to hear this audio. I'm going to play this. This is from earlier this week. Let's see. On Dave Boy tweeted this. Did he upload this? Yeah, he must have uploaded this. 1.2 million views on his Twitter feed, but it's a minute-long clip. Glenn Beck Show.
Look at all these things. We're slaying it all. ESG, we're slaying that. The DEI stuff, critical race theory, we're slaying that. We're creating a model for really, I think, what a free society should be. Yes, freedom for you to not be constrained by government. All conservatives have always believed in that. But also freedom for you to live your life without having the pathologies of the left imposed upon you from all the other institutions in society. And maybe that's a woke corporation. Maybe that's Soros funds a DA in your community, and then this DA says he's not enforcing the law, putting you and your family at risk. We had a Soros DA in Tampa that said he was going to enforce the law. I removed him from office, and he's litigating, but I'm winning the cases. And, you just have to recognize that the threats to freedom are more than just whether someone's going to come in and raise your taxes or pass a bad piece of legislation. So I think Florida, we're fighting full spectrum. I think more conservatives now across the country are recognizing that we need to fight full spectrum.
That's it right there. That's beautiful. Fighting full spectrum. Full spectrum. This is really. We talked about this on the Patreon a few minutes ago. Go subscribe. Right there, that's real, because every parent across America is dealing with this horse shit in their kids' schools. Everybody at a job is having to deal with the DEI officers at their workplace. You're seeing it constantly in media. It is all over the place. It is pervasive. It is paramount right now, whether you like it or not. Those in conservative media, it is paramount right now to Ukraine and Russia policy. Sorry if you don't agree, but it is. Okay, and we'll get into that in a second, because there were some shots taken at him across earlier in the week. This is real. Trump getting arrested for Stormy Daniels payments is not real. It doesn't matter. You're tired of the drama, and I think so many other people are. And it's getting to the point where stuff like this, what you just saw, is it is inevitable. It's inevitable.
Well, right. Like, the thing is like, I'm so tired of the drama. Like, what does defending Donald Trump against what's happening in Manhattan DA? Like, yeah, like, I get that Manhattan DA is full of crazy liberals, that are going to charge Donald Trump maybe with a campaign finance violation, which I don't know if is a felony or a misdemeanor, because campaign finance violations usually don't result in jail time. I don't know, like, I feel like Obama's campaign in 2008 and 2012 got fined like crazy over maybe some worse things. And so I don't know what's going to happen, but at the same time, I am tired of going on defense for Donald Trump. Like, I am just tired of this. I want a person to come forward as a Republican with a vision going forward, is going to actually have policy that is going to confront this liberal, mess of wokeism, actually have a policy set for, education, have a policy set for how to handle this, taxes and like all of this other stuff. I want somebody who actually has a policy.
Somebody
to handle this intrusion of like crazy liberal stuff that like even the liberals, the centrist liberals won't even say is wrong. Like, ESG is causing a mess in our banking system. Like, I don't even, and especially in investments, like this is a mess.
We need somebody, and you're saying somebody serious.
Yeah, we need somebody serious. Like, so why do I need to play defense again? Like, that's the thing. Like, it's like I'm playing defense. And they're like, the principle matters. The principle, sure, the principle does matter, but I'm arguing I'm playing defense again.
Yeah.
When I can be playing offense, because the Dems always play offense.
Yep.
Like, that's the thing that I don't think a lot of conservatives and Republicans get. They're never on defense. The reason why they're rarely ever on defense, because the media usually
they don't have to be. They can just deflect. Yeah.
And when like, look at Nancy Pelosi. She is like the queen of deflecting. Like, I she does it so smoothly. Like, if I'm going to compliment a Dem, she does it so smoothly. She turns it back on them, and they don't even care. Yeah, look,
that Visa, the Visa IPO, the stock IPO for that, they made millions. She's like, no, you should. To the guy from 60 Minutes I forget his name, Steve something or other. She just like, no, you have your facts wrong. We didn't do that. That's not what happened. And it's like, it's 1,000% what happened, and just went away, melted.
Like, did that stock ban ever pass the House?
No,
it was
and that's
it was from John Ossoff, a Democratic senator of Georgia. Like, he put forth that bill, never went to the House underneath her. It's still not up for passage. Like, she was able to deflect and move forward, and she did it to protect her own stock portfolio. So again, Dems always play offense. They never play defense. And so why am I being put in a point of defense with Donald Trump when I want somebody who plays offense all the time?
Yeah. So one of the other aspects that was bothering me earlier in the week. So I'm, you and I both listen to a bunch of podcasts. I listen to the editors from National Review, Kirk Minahan from Barstool, who, but it's mostly political stuff and some tennis stuff. And I listen to the Commentary podcast. And I still listen to it. I like it. I like, what they have to say, even though J-Pod goes on astoundingly too long to start those episodes. But this week they talked about DeSantis and his Ukrainian policy, because Tucker Carlson put out a questionnaire to a bunch of people who are kind of in the hunt for Republican nomination for POTUS. And they started to really rip him apart for his response. Now, before I get into the actual response, it just felt forced. It did not feel genuine that they had some real philosophical disagreement with Ron DeSantis on his Ukrainian policy. I think they, if you're
I have a take on this. I didn't listen to the Commentary podcast, although I can probably guess what Noah Rothman's
he moved over to NRO. Did you know that?
He's not on Commentary anymore?
Nope. A couple weeks ago, he moved over to National Review.
Oh wow, good for him.
No, he's a good get.
I really like Noah Rothman as when he was on the commentary podcast. I like him
Same.
still as you like Jonah Goldberg. I actually still like Noah Rothman, even though I disagree with him and on some things. So like the thing with Ron DeSantis' Ukraine discussion is that conservatives need to really get serious about the national security threat of a dragon bear. Okay, and dragon bear means China and Russia together, closer than ever, and we're just not. Like I do agree with Ron DeSantis that China is going to be leading the way, and Putin's going to be his gimpy little gas station attendant for Xi. And so that is a problem. Like we see the aggression of China in the Pacific, and that China supported Russia going into Ukraine. Okay. So the thing with Ukraine is that, yes, it is a territorial dispute. The Council on Foreign Relations does not even disagree with this point. The Biden administration does not even disagree with this point, right? Okay. It is a territorial dispute, and that Russia thinks that Ukraine is a part of their country. And that is the reason why that they are going in and trying to reclaim Ukraine to become Russia again. Like that is a territorial dispute. What I think a lot of people were really angry about is that kind of deflected from maybe the idealistic, I guess, symbolic push
right.
Russia back.
Right.
And maybe within
they wanted
some scope of NATO control. So I guess I'm going to have to be very honest here. I'm not giving Joe Biden seal claps or golf claps for being able to utilize NATO to come together in order to send weapons to Ukraine. NATO is an alliance that's been together for a very long time. They should have been able to come together and see the risk of Russia doing a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. I'm not clapping for Biden to be able to do this. It's a very old alliance at this point. And so my biggest concern now, though, is the dragon bear. It is China and Russia becoming closer than ever. And they're getting diplomatic wins. In the last week, we see China putting together talks between Iran and Saudi Arabia to stop the war in Yemen. If you all don't really understand this, it's very complicated. I'm not going to discuss Iran and Saudi Arabia, but they've been fighting, and it's been over Yemen. And since the Obama administration, it's just been a humanitarian crisis. It's one that is rarely reported on, which I think is deplorable. But anyway, China led those peace talks. Okay, so we didn't. So why is the focus on Ron DeSantis being honest about Ukraine and what our national security is? And then we see this, because this is where our hegemonic power is questioned. Okay, so this is when China is leading peace talks in a diplomatic way and we're not involved, that's where our standing on the world stage lowers. So that's what I have the ultimate problem with.
The pushback on DeSantis's Ukraine answer comes because it wasn't fan service to what, call it more neocon flavored attitudes towards foreign policy go for. Including that in commentary. But hang on one second. So they wanted to hear a more forceful pushback. Now, what DeSantis gave was a political answer, and probably the better political answer for where he is in this moment. Okay, if he wants to affect any change, he can't be doing fan service to, call it to John Podhoretz and commentary, right? He has to navigate very carefully the Republican primary base, okay? And to have a policy that's essentially Biden's policy, which is which would be status quo right now, is probably the right way to go about it. Meaning, you can't come out forcefully, oh, we should send more aid, oh, we should send more missiles, tanks, guns, whatever. It should be unlimited. He actually has to be vague about it because he wants to get the folks who are hesitant about Ukraine and supporting them, which are more Trump aligned, to win that primary base. It was the correct political answer. And I'm going to say this, especially with foreign policy. Foreign policy can turn on a dime. Okay, you can't.
Well, we saw that after 9/11.
Yeah,
because
you
the way
cannot
that
be.
George W. Bush ran in 2000 is, according to foreign policy. Right now, all these neocons, if they actually remembered that time period and read the speeches that George W. Bush gave, would be flabbergasted. Okay, and so 9/11 was a huge event, and then foreign policy changes quickly, right? I mean, what George W. Bush was saying even in 2000 was not even that different from what Ron DeSantis is saying now. We need to take care of our own country in order to make it strong, so we have a good foreign policy. That's not a bad thing. I don't consider that to be some crazy fringe nationalist position. Like, I don't know why people on the right, especially the neocons and people who lean towards that, are so against any discussion of strengthening our country. And you are underestimating the preparedness of our military in a future conflict with China and Russia together. That is very scary to me.
The reason why they say this, and there's an element of truth to that, is there are very Putin sympathetic voices out there that like him for whatever reason. Not going to get into it now, but they're a bit like the left on this, somewhat libertarian, where it's the blame America first crowd. Oh, like we caused this, we made them invade. That is out there. Their concern, wrongfully, in my opinion. Wait, hang on. Wait, their concern, wrongfully, in my opinion, is that they want to link DeSantis to that. So maybe that, and it gives their preferred candidate, who I think is Nikki Haley, a leg up on that. And that's where it's coming from.
But would Nikki Haley not say that we need to strengthen our country and make sure our military is fully prepared?
No, of course she would. Of course she would.
I'm just like, why are you upset over Ron DeSantis saying this? And then Nikki Haley regurgitates Trump talking points, and you don't say anything. Because
in their fantasy world, they can see Nikki Haley they want Nikki Haley to be the nominee. And look, if you asked me in 2017. Hey, in a few years, Nikki Haley's running for president. Are you going to vote for her? I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm going to vote for her.
I mean, I would. But
things change. Things change.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I would vote for Nikki Haley if she's a nominee. I'm not like saying that like she's someone that I would not vote for. Okay, but what I'm saying is that, and I do agree with your point. They're more concerned about Ron DeSantis pandering to the Trump people, but when Nikki Haley like literally does that, they keep quiet. And so I mean, like this week, like, right. Like, so on Ukraine, like Nikki Haley put out a statement about Ron DeSantis and then utilized Trump to like,
look, if you're going after the guy that hasn't even officially declared for president, and I think everything he's doing that you talked about earlier in the podcast, he should continue doing this for months. He shouldn't declare for a while now. If you're getting all this heat and you haven't even officially decided to run or announce that you're running, it's the greatest of all. It's the best of all worlds. You don't have to put anything down in black and white. You don't have to take any hard positions because you're not officially running everything. You get all the attention. Everybody's coming after you because they think you're the front runner. All the polling is in your favor, but you don't have to do anything. You just keep lying and building and pulling people over and watch everybody else's numbers drop. And you're in this amazing position. And by the way, let me say this to you, if you happen to be an advisor or you even happen to be a candidate and you watch this clip. If you're going after a guy for his policy positions while you're running for president of the United States, and that guy hasn't even announced that he's running for president of the United States, you should reconsider running for president of the United States because you're already down, and it probably isn't going to happen. So we're seeing that, and This is why I think the inevitability factor is a foregone conclusion.
I mean, I think that you're going to see shifts once Ron DeSantis announces. Right now, he has not announced, and he's very much right now competing with Donald Trump. I don't think Mike Pence has a shot. Again, I have nothing against Mike Pence. I like Mike Pence. I don't have really much against Nikki Haley, although I think that she really digs into these weirdo attacks and then utilizes Donald Trump to do that. And I think that that's very strange because her personal politics on like foreign policy is very, very different to Donald Trump. And again, Donald Trump, when he was president, on foreign policy, again, he killed Qasem Soleimani, and I loved that decision because my big thing is kill all terrorists, but don't stay in the area.
I don't think this isn't really this nomination.
I think that Donald Trump has actually shifted on foreign policy, and so it's very strange to me. I think that constricting his primary base, and so I don't know if that wider at large he can shift back. But Ron DeSantis, being a former Navy lawyer, he did work in Gitmo, which is something that I actually really like. Because again, I think that terrorists are bad people. And so if he worked on the behalf of the American government to try these people and make sure they receive the justice that they should receive for being allied to Al-Qaeda during 9/11, in which was a horrific terror attack that I watched as a 7th grader. Good for him. I support that completely. And so, again, I'm hoping Ron DeSantis pulls away. I'm hoping he announces soon. The second he announces, I'm going to be opening up my wallet and donating.
Same.
And so, yeah.
Let me say this. I don't think it will. There'll be aspects of this, but I don't think this is going to be a policy fight for the nomination, much like 2016 wasn't policy. It was accomplishments. And I think no, it wasn't accomplishments in 2016. I think it'll be more of who they are rather than what they believe. You're seeing what that clip that we played earlier, Ron DeSantis gets shit done. He fights, and this is the problem we had locally, where our crazy former chairman and loser Jim Lyons would talk about how, I fight. Well, no, actually, you don't fight. You don't do anything. You don't fight. You send useless press releases out, and you don't get anything done. I mean, Trump got some stuff done, and he's like, well, we need a fighter and to fight the fight, and I am the storm and all that bullshit, and you're just like,
you mean oh my God.
Yeah,
yesterday was
cringe.
That they're like really harping on Ron DeSantis for not coming out and putting out a statement. Ron DeSantis owes Trump right now nothing after Trump alluded to him being a pedophile and then trying to file an ethics lawsuit on Ron DeSantis right now as governor of Florida for apparently running for president without declaring and repealing that resign law. So I am of the opinion that because of what the conservative influence for Trump was doing last night, Ron DeSantis owes them exactly zero.
The bigger play that we have to be concerned about on our side of this, I'm not really that worried about the left. The left is going to run their playbook, and I have high degree of confidence that DeSantis can steamroll the playbook. What the concern to me is that there's a lot of people out there in conservative media that aren't in the room where it happens, okay? They're in the room where Nikki Haley happens. And I say in the room where it happens from alluding to the Hamilton musical, if you happen to see that, right? You want to be, if you're a political player in this world, just like Kaitlin and I, sometimes we're in the rooms where it happened, right? Maybe locally, right? If you're nationally and, your social circle and work circle is tied to other people, more DC based, you're going to have a natural inclination to back the more DC based politician. And in this case, it's Nikki Haley, for right and wrong. And again, if she's the nominee, I'll vote for her. Of course, I'll campaign for her. She'd be much better than Biden. But it works at cross purposes because DeSantis is coming out of Florida. Okay, he was a congressman, yes, but he doesn't have that base. A lot of it, in which shockingly, there's enough people at NRO, National Review that get it, Charlie Cook among them, that you're going to see the gravitation take place, which will be interesting. So it's like I want to advise them, folks at commentary, be like, guys, you want to back Nikki Haley, great. Fine, but you're just going to be on the outside, and you don't want to be on the outside at the end of this. If your job is this, Kaitlin and I don't have jobs doing this. This is our hobby. We have fun. We like talking about it and enjoy it. But if it's your job,
so you really don't want to run into the same thing that happened with like NRO and Wax and the Weekly Standard and all these other magazines in 2016 where they lose prominence with the conservative base. You really want to report on this in a very honest way, and you want to make it seem like you're not supporting one candidate or another. I think going hard at Ron DeSantis because you personally disagree with that without being nuanced does not help your case there. And so my advice to these conservative publications that I love and I subscribe to is being nuanced in this right now. So you can stay in the room and you can give a nuanced opinion and you get that insider information.
so
You came up really hard against Donald Trump, and I'm fine with that in 2016 because I didn't vote for Donald Trump in 2016.
right.
And so I just want conservative publications to be able to give a complex opinion on these.
I want to, in clarifying, like National Review, I think held to like the conservative American conservatism standard, right, for 2016, and did so through the Trump presidency. Their main issues with him were with him, not necessarily his policy. So,
and I think they were actually very fair
throughout
when I was, when I would listen to the editors, I think that they were very fair throughout the Trump policies and calling Olsen strikes.
Yeah, no, I think they were really good at that. And your case in point, Weekly Standard folded, gone. Now you have the Bulwark, which is nothing. That's got to be funded by people who don't have a clue. I'd hate for that to see the commentary if they go down this because if you're conservatives, like you can't really. It's a hard lift to say DeSantis isn't conservative even on the foreign policy front if you disagree with, say, the messaging of his latest statement. You don't overemphasize or, I guess, blow out of proportion what that response is because it's not a good look. And that's what I saw this week. I was just like, it just seemed forced and contrived. The level of, I won't say hate, but the level of anger they had with this is a game changer type of take on his foreign policy. I'm like, no, it's not. Don't go down this road. Don't blow it out of proportion.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not a game changer type of policy. I mean, it just really isn't. And if you are invested in removing Trump from the party, like you need to start looking at Ron DeSantis because he's the only person that really can do that. And so if you can sort of, with your commentary, guide him in a way that you want him to, so he has, general election appeal, even in the primary, also primary appeal. Like, so he's putting out blander statements, but still overall have like a wider appeal, then do that. Like, I just don't think yelling at him over calling Ukraine a territorial dispute, even when the libs agree with that, is not really a good thing. Like, it's not the year 2007 anymore. It's 2023. And so your neoconservatism, we're not going to go in and rebuild Ukraine's democracy. Like, that's not going to happen. And so we need to be really realistic about that. And so, again, being realistic about the conflict in general, I don't think is a bad thing.
Agreed. All right. I think that wraps up this week's episode of the RINO podcast. Thank you for watching, listening. Head on over to patreon.com/RhinoPod. Only $1 a month. A month, $1 a month to get extra content. We just did a good episode on defining woke, talking about Bethany Mandel, or Bethany Shondark Mandel, or Bethany Mandel Shondark, if I have it wrong. Sorry, Bethany.
I think
And
it's Bethany Shondark Mandel.
okay, well, there you go. So head on over there for extra content, and we always appreciate your subscribing to the Patreon and watching here. So until next time, we'll be talking to you later. Anything else, Kaitlin?
No, bye guys. Have a good Sunday.
Bye. Have a good week. Enjoy. Spring has sprung. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.